Hello, this is Mr. Painter with another fabulous IXL tutorial. Today we're working on IXL Y.12, solve equations with variables on both sides. Now, if you take a look at this IXL, we have variables on both sides, which makes it a lot trickier because usually we have one variable on one side or the other, but not on both. So today what we're going to do is we're going to work on putting the variables on one side and our constants. Remember, a constant is a number on the other side. So let's take a look at this right here. So we got 5c, and I always call it C kitty cats. It's just, I don't know, it's just fun. Equals 6c plus 6. All right. We got c's on both sides. Now, I can move c's either to the left side or the right side. And what I like to do is I like to take the c's and put them on the side that's opposite of the, I'm going to say the constant. So notice that c's are by themselves on the left, but this 6c, that's with the constant on the right, it's got a number too of 6. So what I'm going to do is if I subtract 6c on the right side, well, whatever I do to one side, I must do the other. I subtract 6c here. We have 5c minus 6c, which gives us negative 1c here on the left. And 6c minus 6c leaves us with just 6. Now we're back to a one-step equation. So what I need to do is I need to divide out by negative 1 and divide the negative 2 because we want our c to be positive. And divide the right by negative 1, and that's going to get c by itself on the left side because negatives cancel out, 1 cancels out, c is left. Then we have 6 divide negative 1. 6 divide negative 1 is negative 6. So that works out there. So first answer here is negative 6. So in this IXL, it's just a matter of figuring out, well, how do you move your variables to one side? All right, here we go. We got another problem. We got negative 5g equals negative 5 minus 4g. Well, the negative 4g is with the 5, so I'd rather have the g's on the left side. So let's add the opposite of 4g on the right side. But if I add 4g on the right side, well, I better add 4g on the left side. So I got negative 5g plus 4g equals negative 1g equals negative 5. Now, the opposites, negative 4g and positive 4g, cancel out. That's the whole point. We want to take that g and just slide it over to the left. All right, this is like the same thing as last problem. We need the opposite of multiplying by negative 1. So I'm going to divide negative 1 on both sides. So negatives cancel out, 1s cancel out. G equals negatives cancel out. 5 divide 1 is 5. So G is positive 5. All right, so we're going to plug in a 5 there. And keep on going. What am I at right now? Smart score 26 and 2 problems. Not bad, not bad. Now, here we go. This one looks a little bit different. We got, let's see, we got negative 5n minus 10 equals 8 minus 3n. This one's kind of tricky because look, we got an n on the left side with a constant. Then we have another constant here and n on the right side. The whole time, actually, it doesn't matter which side you move the variables on. You just got to get all the variables on one side and all the constants on the other side. But I just try to do it the easiest way as possible. All right. So here, what we're going to do is let's try to put the n's on the right side. And we'll put the numbers on the right. So just pick a side, and I'm going to go ahead and add 5n to the left side, and we're going to add 5n to the right side. The key here is whatever I do the left side, I got to do the right side. So the 5n's cancel out. Negative 10 comes down equals 8. Let's see. Negative 3n plus 5n is positive 2n plus 2n. Okay, now we're back on a two-step equation, so this is really nice. So again, we're just adding another step. So As normal, add and subtract first before multiplying and dividing. So let's go ahead and subtract 8 from both sides. And negative 10 minus 8, let's see, negative 10 minus 8, that's going to lead us to, let me see, did you get it? Did you tell me it's negative 18? Because you're right, negative 18 is correct. So again, subtracting 10, subtracting 8, losing and subtracting twice makes a bigger subtraction. So negative 18 equals 8's cancel out because positive 8 minus 18 leaves us with 2n. Now we're back at a one-step equation. So if you're finding this difficult, maybe you want to go back and review one-step equations and two-step equations earlier in the tutorial videos. All right, so we got last step. Opposite of multiplying by 2 is we're going to divide both sides by 2. And negative 18 divide 2, well, first of all, negative divided positive is, let's see, is a negative. And 18 divided 2 is 9. So negative 9 on that side. 2's cancel out. There's our n. Nice. So we got negative 9 equals n. So n equals negative 9. Now, what I'm going to do is, before I move on, because, you know, this is a tutorial video, well, have you ever thought about what if we did the negative 3 first? So what I'm going to do is, before I submit this one, I'm going to do the same exact problem the other way. So here's another way of looking at it. We have negative 5n minus 10 equals 8 minus 3n. So again, look at the red equation here. So notice that we dealt with the 5 first. But what if we deal with the 3 first? So we add 3n to the right side, and we also add 3n to the left side. Well, what happens here? Negative 5n plus 3n leaves us with negative 2n minus 10 equals 8, and 3's are out. Now we're back to a two-step equation. Now this equation will come out to negative 9 if we keep moving forward. So let's try it. Add and subtract first before multiplying and dividing because the negative 2 is multiplied with the n. So I'm going to add 10 on both sides. So now I got negative 2 times n. Watch that negative, bring down the negative 2, equals, 10's canceled out. 8 plus 10 is 18. Last step is to get n by itself is I need to divide both sides by negative 2. So negatives cancel out, 2's cancel out. N equals a positive 18 divide a negative is a negative, and 18 divide 2 is 9. So notice here that it doesn't matter which variable you start with. You can start on the left side or the right side. It's going to come out to the same no matter what. And actually, if you look at the steps, it's the same amount of steps and everything too. So for sure, negative 9 definitely works on that because I did it twice in 2 different ways and it does work. So just something to think about. You pick the way you want. Of course, you don't do both unless you really love math like I do. Yeah, you're going to do both, but you don't have to do all that. All right, so negative 9, moving forward on that. Okay, here we go. We got another equation. We got negative 2u plus 9 equals 2u minus 7. Well, here we go. We'll just deal with the left side first. So I'm going to do the opposite, plus 2u. If I add 2u to the left side, I need to add 2u to the right side. Notice that the u's stay together, and the u's also here stay together. So we're not adding 2u to the 9, and we're definitely not adding 2u to the negative 7, because the 7 has no u after it. So u's stay with u's, and numbers stay with numbers. So the 9 comes straight down, and the 7 comes straight down as negative because we didn't touch it. So negative 2u plus 2 cancels out because they're opposite, equals comes down, and 2u plus 2u is 4u minus the 7 that we brought down. So again, variables stay with the variables, but constants, which are numbers, don't mix with variables. All right, let's see. Two-step equation. We got 4 times u minus 7. Add and subtract first, so we're going to add 7 both sides. Add 7 both sides. So positive 9 plus positive 7 is equal to 16 equals 4 multiply u, and the 7s are inverses or opposites, which makes them eliminate, which is nice. Now you can ask yourself, for this one-step beautiful equation, 4 times what gives you 16? Well, I know for sure if I divide 4 on both sides, I'm going to get the correct answer, because 16 divide 4, it's going to leave me with 4 equals, these 4's cancel out, u. So 4 is equal to u. All right, so here we go. Plug in 4 there. Nicely done. All right, here we go. Next equation here. We got 8 minus 4b plus 6 equals negative 10 minus 7b. All right, a little bit longer. How am I doing on the smart score? I gotta be at like 30 something. Well, I'm at 47. Nice. Okay, so what happens here is, notice we got two constants, one variable on the left and a constant variable on the right. So let's start with, let's see, let's add 4b on both sides. I've just been on the streak of just doing the left side first. It works out again either way, as I showed earlier. But if I add 4b to the b's here, well, the only b to work with here is the 7b, so I'm going to add 4b to the 7b. So 4b's cancel out, and 8 plus 6 comes down, equals negative 10, negative 7b plus 4b, because they're opposites, 7 minus 4 is 3b. And because the magnitude of the 7 is larger and it's negative, we're going to go negative 3b on that. Well, here's an easy one right here. On the same side, we got 8 plus 6. And you just add them directly up. 8 plus 6 is 14 equals negative 10 minus 3b. Now we're back to a two-step equation again. So in a two-step equation, we need to add and subtract first before multiplying and dividing. So we could add 10 on both sides. So if I add 10 to the right, well, better add 10 to the left. So 14 plus 10 is 24 equals negative 10 plus 10. Cancel out because they're opposites, and negative 3b comes down. All right, next step, we have positive 24 equals negative 3b. So here we go. Opposite of multiplying by negative 3 is to divide by negative 3. But if I divide by negative 3 on the right side, well, I definitely need to divide by negative 3 on the left side. Therefore, 20 divided negative 3 is negative 8 equals, negatives cancel out, 3's cancel out, equals b. All right, so we got negative 8 equals b. All right, next step, we're at a smart score of 55 with 5 questions. This one seems to go a lot quicker because the point values are higher, which is great. So we got 10 plus 6g equals 10g minus 10. All right, let's go ahead and subtract 6g from one side because we have g's on both sides, minus 6g. Therefore, 6g's eliminate. 10 equals 10g minus 6g is 4g minus 10. Next step, we have a two-step equation because we have 4 times g minus 10. So add and subtract first before multiplying and dividing. So I'm going to go ahead and add 10 on the right side. But if I add 10 on the right, well, I definitely need to add 10 on the left. So 10 plus 10 is 20 equals 4 times g is 4g, and the 10s are out. Now we're down to a one-step equation. One steps are nice because we have one step left to go. So we have 4 times something to give you 20. 4 times what gives you 20? You know what? I'm not quite sure. So if I do divide 4 on both sides, I need to do 20 divided 4. and 20 divided 4 is 5 equals 4 divided 4 cancels out. We're left with G. So G is equal to 5. Now, have you ever wondered, well, is it possible to check these? Because remember on 1 and 2 step equations, I used to check them. Well, we can check them on this one as well. So check this out. I'm going to bring down the equation right here. If we have 10 plus 6 times, remember, G's are 5, so 6 times 5 equals 10 times, there's G again, G is equal to 5, so 10 times 5 minus 10, both sides should be equal. And if they are, you know you got it right. So order of operations, 6 times 5 is 30 there, plus 10 comes down, and 10 plus 30 is 40. Equals. Now let's do this other side. 10 times 5 is 50, minus 10, and how nice is that? 50 minus 10 is equal to 40, therefore that checks out. That G must be equal to 5. So I'm going to plug in 5. All right, we're going to go ahead and submit it and see what happens. And we got it. All right, clear the board. We have 6 questions answered at 61 points. So here we go. We got negative 10K minus 10 equals 10 minus 7K plus 10. Woo! All right, we got K's on both sides. So let's start by adding 10K to both sides to get it on the right side only. So I'm going to add 10K on the left side. And if I add 10K to the left side, I also need to add 10K to the right side. And notice that I keep the K's together. And I keep the K's together. All the numbers without K's, I left them alone. So opposites cancel out there. Negative 10 equals 10. 10 minus 7. Let's see, 10 minus 7 is 3 plus 1. Now, notice I got 2 10s on this side. So what about putting the 10s together? Because there's no K's with the 10. So 10 plus 10 is 20 plus 3K. And negative 10 comes down on the left side. So now, the opposite of adding 20 is to subtract 20. Because right here is a multiply. And let me see. Do you remember what this is called? You got it. It's called a two-step equation. So we're going to go ahead and subtract 20 on both sides. So negative 10 minus 20 is negative 30 equals 20's cancel out 3K. Well, this one's nice. So 3 times what gives you negative 30? 3 times what gives you negative 30? You know what? I'm just going to do the last step. I'm going to do the opposite of multiply, divide by 3 on both sides. So negative 30 divide positive 3 is negative 10 equals, 3's are out, K. So negative 10 equals K. So we're going to go ahead and plug in negative 10. All right, next up. Oh, how lovely on this one. We got decimals. All right, so this is where you get to use a calculator. And I'm not going to use a calculator on the screen, but when I say I'm going to use a calculator, you'll know where I'm at. So let's give this a try. Same concept, but it was so nice of them to give us a decimal one. I mean, what would IXL be without giving us decimals, right? All right, here we go. We got 297 minus 8.4y equals negative 8.57 minus 9.1y. The same thing we've been doing the whole time, but now we just got decimals. So let's start with this 8.4y. I'm just going to add 8.4. Again, it's the same exact steps as before, but now we just got decimals. Plus 8.4 y. Notice I'm keeping the y's with the y's. So our constants, we didn't touch them. We're just going to bring them down. So we got negative 2.97. Opposites cancel out, equals negative 8.57. And how nice of them on this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just use the calculator off the screen. So when you use a calculator, you just take a look at it. So here we go, calculator. All right, so we got negative 9.1 plus 8.4. And that's going to give us negative 0.7 y. So negative 0.7 y. So again, use a calculator on that. All right, next step is I want to get our two-step equation down to a one-step equation because we have a constant and a variable here. So the opposite of the negative here is to add 8.57 on both sides. If I add 8.57 to the right side, well, I also need to add 8.57 on the left side. So on the left side, we got, let's see, negative, again, I'm back on my calculator, negative 2.97 plus 8.57, and it really matters to get it accurate. And I ended up with getting 5.6 over here. Equals, opposites eliminate, negative 0.7 y. So again, it's the same thing we've been doing the whole time. It's just I got to use a calculator because the decimals are getting kind of tricky. Now it looks like I need to use it one more time because I got negative 0.07 times a y. Therefore, I need to divide negative 0.7 on both sides. Divide negative 0.07. So back on my calculator, here we go. I got 5.6 divide negative 0.7. You could put 0.7, but you could just put 0.7. That works too. Again, just matching the calculator. And I get negative 8. Wow, I can't believe all that turned into a whole number. So negative 8 equals negative 0.7s are out equals y. So again, use a calculator on the decimal problems. It helps out a lot. Just make it a lot easier. Because division, this is like crazy division right here. It makes it quite a bit harder. Y is equal to what? Negative 8. All right, so my score is 71. Woo, they gave us a break from the decimals. Thank goodness. So we shouldn't need a calculator on this one. So here we go. We got 4 minus 10r equals negative 10 plus 2r plus 2. Well, let's get the r's on the right side. So I'm going to add 10r to the left side. And whatever I do to the left side, I need to do to the right side. So plus 10r. The r's eliminate because they're opposite. So I got 4 equals negative 10 plus 12r, because 2r plus 10r is 12, plus 2. Now we have two constants. We have a negative 10 and the 2. So negative 10 plus 2 takes us to negative 8. And we need to bring down the 12r. So plus 12r equals 4 on the left side. All right, two-step equation. Here we go. We got multiply here. We need to add and subtract first. So we're going to add 8 on both sides. So 4 plus 8 is 12 equals 8's eliminate 12r. Oh, how nice. 12 times something must give us 12. Got to be a 1, right? It's got to be a 1. So because if I divide 12 on both sides, divide 12, divide 12. 12 divided 12 is 1. and 12 there eliminate to R. So there was only one R here the whole time. That was kind of a fun one. So we're going to plug in a 1 there. All right, next problem. We're going to go ahead and clear the board. We got Z for zebras. We got negative 6Z, and I'll put the line through the Z, so that represents a Z with a line through it because I think they're 2's, plus 8 plus 6Z equals Z minus 2. Now, check this out. It's negative 6Z and positive 6Z are inverses on the same side. So in a previous tutorial, we talked about having inverses on the same side. And when that happens, you can save yourself a step and eliminate those. So now, look, check this out. You're back to a two-step equation because we have 8 equals Z minus 2. And actually, that's a one-step equation because there's only negative 2 on the right side with the Z. So here on the right side, add 2 to both sides. 8 plus 2 is 10 equals Z. So what looked like a really difficult and hard problem actually was not bad at all. Now, well, what would happen otherwise? If you put these two together, you just have a 0Z. Okay, so that's why they eliminate. So when you see that, just cross them out. So I almost pressed the enter button right now. I didn't even put the answer in there. So now I got my answer in there. So I got Z is equal to 10. All right, here we go. We got ourselves another one. Oh, so close to 80. So close to 80. And then they give me a decimal one. All right, fair is fair. If I'm going to ask you to go to 80, we're going to 80 together. So I'm going to do this one with you too. So calculator is going to be out. Here we go. So we got 0.2m minus 9.75 equals 9.75 plus 3.2m. All right, so we're going to go ahead and subtract m from the left side. So we're going to subtract we're going to subtract negative. What am I saying? Decimals, right? We're going to subtract 0.2m from both sides. See, now we got it right. Subtract 0.2 m's from both sides. And notice that m's stay with m, so the m's are there and the m's are here. But these are opposites, which eliminate that to negative 9.75 equals, oh, this problem's going to come out to a whole number. This is nice. To a positive 9.75. But 0.2 and 0.2 cancels to 0. And 3 minus 0 is 3.0. And 3.0 is the same thing as 3. So that worked out nice. And don't forget to bring down the m. So one more time, 3.2m minus 0.2m is 3. Now, you're probably wondering, well, how did I know? And that's positive. How did I know it's going to be a whole number? Because look, we got inverses here. A negative 9.75 and a negative 9.75 here. So if we subtract out 9.75, because we need to add and subtract first, because this 3m is multiplication. This is a two-step equation. So negative 9.75, subtract negative 9.75 on the left side. Be careful. You're probably looking at the left side right now. You're like, ooh, it's 0. No, it's not 0. You got to put them together. So it's like spending $9.75 twice, which means you spend quite a bit of money. So notice I've disappeared off the screen. So we're going to go ahead and put them together. So 9, I'm back on my calculator, 0.975 plus 9.75 is going to be equal to 19.5. So here we go. Back on the screen, I got 19.5 equals 3 times m. Last step, divide both sides by 3. So I'm going to divide by 3 there and divide by 3. Yet another calculator problem. So I got 19.5 divide 3. So here we go. 19.5 divide 3 equals 6.5. I was actually wrong. I thought we'd get a whole number, and you know, sometimes you make a prediction. That's called a prediction, right? Equals M. So 6.5 equals M. Please be right, because this would be my last problem, because I'm at like 79. I'm so close to that 80. And I got it wrong. I did something wrong with the negatives. How fun. All right, so what happened is I forgot to carry the negative down with M. So do you notice right here where it says -3? And when you divide both sides by -3, so here I'll show you that step right there. So you got to divide by -3, and 19 divide -3 gives you 6.5. So what happened is I forgot the -3 there, and that's why I got the positive. With that being said, you learn from my mistakes. This is going to conclude that IXL tutorial.